This is a story of territorial war and conflict. While defending and expanding their homelands, armies may summon dragon spirits. Praying fate guides them toward the opposition. This Dragon Dice starter set from SFR provides everything two players need to engage in a variety of head-to-head battles. The box includes game instructions, an assortment of 2 races, the Tree Folk and Firewalkers, 4 dragons, ferocious, indiscriminate adversaries, and 4 terrains, the motherlands for which players battle. 2 playmats are provided to assist in gameplay. Premium rubberized mats are available at the Dragon Dice website. This video walks players through actions and gameplay mechanics after setup. Review the introduction and setup video detailing the game objectives and to establish the war arena. For your convenience, a table of contents is provided in the video description, with shortcuts to game mechanics and examples. Using assembled troops, players seek to maintain control of selected terrains. Most gameplay activity occurs in these primary areas. Supporting areas include the reserve area, a protected retreat to move army units between terrains or to form a 4th specialized army. The dead unit area gathers army units lost in battle. Units may be promoted and returned to combat. Dead units can be forced into the buried unit area and cannot be promoted. Lastly, the summoning pool holds 2 dragons selected at game setup. Dragons may be summoned to terrains to attack occupying armies. Throughout gameplay, each area is explained in greater detail. When players achieve the terrain control objective, their armies gain advantages based on the terrain's location. This starter set includes 4 identifiable locations, each with a unique mixture of 2 elements, defining a topography type that governs army operations. For example, coastland, air, and water topographies allow 1 magic attack, 4 missile attacks, and 2 melee attacks. The coastland topography favors armies with strong missile skills. Flatland, air, and earth topographies grant an equal number of missile and melee attacks, whereas swampland and highland grant an increasing number of magic attacks. Terrain expansion packs for advanced rules provide locations and topographies to customize control of this essential gameplay component. With the battlefield and starting player established at game setup, players alternately complete the phased turn sequence until a winner is decided. Some steps in each phase may be optional. The effects expire phase is when active magic spell or special action icon effects expire. The 8th phase is when players apply terrain control advantages. The dragon attack phase is when summoned dragons take action. The first march phase is when players pursue terrains, attack opponents, and cast magic. The second march phase allows players to continue the pursuit. And the reserves phase is when players manage their reserve army. An in-depth look of each phase is examined as these players demonstrate a complete game. In Round 1, Player 1 begins the phased turn sequence. All phases in the turn sequence are conducted, but action is taken only as the battlefield demands. At this point in the game, this underdeveloped battlefield demands no action in the first 3 phases. These will be explained in depth as gameplay continues. The first and second march phases provide the marching player optional operations performed by different armies. Marching armies include the terrain-based armies established at game setup, plus the reserve area army which may form throughout gameplay. Each march allows a terrain maneuver and an army action. When marching with the reserve area army, skip the terrain maneuver step. A maneuver is conducted by only terrain-occupying armies. Announce the target terrain and conceal your intent to advance or fall back. Opponents may challenge the maneuver with their occupying army. If challenged, both players roll their army's maneuver skill. If the target terrain is under control, the controlling army doubles their identity results. The marching player succeeds if their skill result meets or beats the opponent's. If unchallenged, the marching player automatically succeeds the maneuver. When successful, the marching player makes a 1-step change to the terrain's battle proximity. In this maneuver example, Player 1 chooses to march first with his home army, announces a terrain maneuver, the occupying opponent challenges the maneuver, the marching player beats the maneuver challenge, and falls back his home terrain battle proximity to 2. Each march also allows the marching player to take an action. The reserve area army may take only a magic action. For terrain-occupying armies, the terrain topography governs a magic, missile, or melee action, providing army advantages when under control. Each action is conducted uniquely. A magic action allows an army to cast a variety of offensive and defensive spells. The army's race, elemental makeup, and rolled magic skill determine castable spells, respective to race, element, and cost. Spell traits include multiplicity, persistence, or castable using the cantrip special action icon. Refer to the rulebook for spell details and for roll counting reminders. A missile action allows an army to target terrain-based enemies. Armies at a home terrain may target the opposition occupying the same terrain, or the opposing campaign army. Armies at the frontier terrain may target any opposing terrain-based army. A melee action allows an army to attack the opposition occupying the same terrain. The attacked army may optionally, on the same turn, melee counterattack the marching player. When a terrain battle proximity reaches 8 under army control, the army's identity results are doubled, and allows them to choose a magic missile or melee attack action. The terrain's identifiable location also grants the army a specific advantage. Standing stones locations permit magic action results to cast spells matching the terrain colors. Tower locations permit missile actions to target any terrain-based opposition. City and temple location advantages are utilized in the 8th phase of the controlling player's turn. The non-controlling army may attack with only a melee action. When damage to a target occurs, the target is permitted to roll a defensive save skill to reduce the damage, except where specifically restricted in the rulebook. If the target controls their occupied terrain, they double their identity results. For example, a targeted army with 1 each of uncommon and rare units contains 5 total health, and to the army is cast a Stoneskin spell. A melee action causes 12 damage. The targeted army rolls the save skill, producing 7 results, and 1 additional save skill result is produced by the Stoneskin spell. The adjusted damage is 4. The target owner applies all adjusted damage, given that health lost is maximized. Units lost are sent to the dead unit area. Partially damaged units remain in the target and return to full health after damage resolution. To illustrate, if the adjusted damage of 4 is first applied to the uncommon unit, it is lost and the remaining damage is applied to the rare unit. The total health lost is 2. If instead damage is first applied to the rare unit, the total health lost is 3. The army owner must apply damage in the second case to maximize health lost. The uncommon unit stays with the army and returns to full health. Additionally illustrated, a total adjusted damage of 3 is applied to a target army with 10 health, containing 1 of each unit type. Damage applies in a variety of ways, 2 of which maximize health lost and allows the army owner a choice. In this action example, Player 1 is marching with his home terrain army. The swampland topography, for a battle proximity of 2, governs a magic action. The marching player rolls the magic skill, producing 4 results. Castable spells include treefolk racial spells, non-racial elemental spells, non-racial green and yellow spells matching water and earth elements, and spells costing 4 or less points. 6 spells are castable for this magic action. The marching player spends 2 magic skill results to cast Stoneskin targeting his horde army, increasing its save skill results by 1. This effect lasts until the beginning of his next turn. After each magic action, unspent magic skill results are lost. Player 1's first march is concluded. He chooses to march second with his horde army at the opponent's home terrain. Attempts a maneuver, is opposed, fails the maneuver, and takes an action. In this action example, the Highland topography for a battle proximity of 5 governs a missile action. At a home terrain, an army may target the opposition occupying the same terrain or the opposing campaign army. The marching player chooses to target the opposing campaign army, rolls a missile skill result of 1, and the opponent responds by rolling a save skill result of 6, causing 0 adjusted damage, and concluding the march. The reserves phase is demonstrated later in gameplay, as player 1 skips the optional steps, ending his turn. Player 2 chooses to march first with her campaign army at the frontier terrain. She attempts and succeeds the maneuver, advances the terrain from 4 to 5, then takes an action. In this action example, the flatland topography for a battle proximity of 5 governs a melee action, allowing an army to target only the opposition occupying the same terrain. The marching player rolls a melee skill result of 5, and the opponent responds by rolling a save skill result of 3, causing 2 adjusted damage. To maximize health lost, the opponent moves an uncommon unit worth 2 health to his dead unit area. Only a melee action allows the attacked army to optionally melee counterattack the marching player. Player 1 exercises this option, causing 4 adjusted damage to the marching player. Similarly, to maximize health lost, the marching player moves a total of 4 health to her dead unit area, concluding her first march. Player 2 skips the maneuver in her second march and fails to roll any missile results, quickly concluding this march, but takes advantage of the reserves phase. The reserves phase allows players to manage their reserve area army. Reserve area army management allows the marching player to first reinforce terrain-based armies with any or all units from the reserve area, assigning units in any fashion. After reinforcement, the marching player may retreat any or all terrain-based army units to the reserve area. In this reserves phase example, player 2 has no army units in her reserve area, and therefore cannot reinforce her terrain armies, thus ending the reinforce step. She decides to retreat units from her horde army at the opponent's home terrain and moves them to her reserve area. The effects expire phase is when persistent spell effects expire. Active persistent spell effects expire in this phase. Persistent spell effects activate through a magic action or in using the cantrip special action icon. For example, the Stoneskin spell is persistent. When cast, it expires at the beginning of the casting player's next turn. In this effects expire phase example, this Stoneskin spell expires at the beginning of the marching player's turn, as it was cast with a magic action on his prior turn. The pace picks up as gameplay continues, with scrolling turn sequence results at the battlefield base. Player 1 compromises his defensive position as he focuses an imbalance of energy and resources at his home terrain, intent on summoning a dragon. Intent on and successfully summoning a dragon. With 7 or more magic skill results, the marching player may summon a dragon, relocating it from anywhere on the battlefield to any terrain. A dragon attacks during only the dragon attack phase. The dragon attack phase is executed if a marching player army occupies a dragon-inhabited terrain. The dragon always targets the marching player army, regardless of the dragon's owner. The target army also attacks the dragon during this phase. Attacks from multiple dragons are performed in the order decided by the marching player. Dragons are powerfully fierce. With 5 health, plus a 5 save skill advantage, it normally takes 10 missile or melee attack damage to slay the dragon. The attack is executed as follows. The dragon's owner rolls the dragon, resolving immediate skills. A breath skill causes 5 points of non-defensible damage to the target army. A belly skill endangers the dragon, removing its 5 save skill advantage and weakening its slay limit to 5 missile or melee attack damage. A treasure skill allows the target army to promote 1 unit from their dead unit area. Advanced rules provide special effects, dragon-to-dragon fighting, and the use of dragon champions to inspire the primordial appetite. The remaining dragon skills are resolved after the target army performs a combination attack and defense roll. This combination roll simultaneously targets missile, melee, and save skills. Identity results may be assigned to any skill desired and are doubled for terrain-controlling armies. Special action icons are resolved normally. The remaining dragon skills cause defensible damage to the target army. Jaw causes 12 points, Claw 6 points, Wing 5 points, and Tail 3 points. The Tail skill requires the dragon owner to roll the dragon a second time, applying results cumulatively. Damage is resolved for both the dragon and the target army. Army units lost in battle are, as usual, moved to the dead unit area. If the dragon rolled the Wings skill, it returns to its owner's summoning pool. If the target army slayed the dragon returns to its owner's summoning pool, and the target army may, in celebration, promote each and every remaining unit. Partially damaged dragons return to full health with all effects removed. In this dragon attack example, a dragon inhabits a terrain occupied by player 2's army. The dragon rolls the Claw skill, causing 6 points of defensible damage. The target army rolls 0 missile skill results, 2 melee, 1 save, and 1 identity. Player 2 assigns the identity result to the save skill, increasing it to 2. The dragon's 6 claw damage causes 4 adjusted damage to the target army, and the target army's 2 melee damage harms but does not slay the dragon. Player 2 moves 4 health to her dead unit area, and the dragon returns to full health. In one particular skirmish, Player 1 rolls the Rend special action icon, allowing him to roll the unit a second time, adding the new results. Though it does little to stop the dragon's attack, Player 1's armies are soon wiped out, leaving only luck and lonely troops to eke out a victory. Player 2 gains control of her home terrain, the Highland City, providing an advantage on her next turn with a new recruit from her dead unit area. Dragons are exciting, resilient, and indiscriminate. It is recommended to strategically utilize the dragon dice. As shown in this demonstration, they quickly demolish armies and erode hopeful positions. The 8th phase is executed if the marching player controls specific terrain identifiable locations. Having maneuvered the battle proximity to the terrain's identifiable location or 8th phase, this phase allows the marching player to utilize city and temple location advantages. Standing stones and tower advantages occur during the first and second march phases for magic and missile actions, respectively. City advantages allow the marching player to move 1 health from their dead unit area to the controlling army, promote by exchanging a unit to 1 greater health, or recruit by adding a 1 health common unit. Temple advantages allow the marching player to move a unit from the opposing dead unit area to the opposing buried unit area. Units in the buried unit area cannot be promoted or recruited. In this 8th phase example, Player 2 controls her home terrain, the Highland City. City location advantages allow the marching player to move 1 health from their dead unit area to the controlling army. She chooses to recruit a 1 health common unit. The dragon continues to ravage player armies, eventually returning to its summoning pool. As gameplay progresses, Player 2 marches with her reserve area army, skipping the maneuver step as there is no terrain, and targets the magic skill, unfortunately producing 0 results. Eventually, Player 2 owns Player 1, successfully controlling the frontier terrain, a flatland tower, and winning the game. This 2-player starter playthrough demonstration showcases 2 of 13 available races in the fantasy world of Esfa. Advanced gameplay extends strategic possibilities, with magic items, dragonkin and dragon champions to aid in your conquest, compelling and potent use of the earth, air, fire, water, and death elements, a wide variety of terrain objectives to fit your style, and 44 dragon variations. Join a vibrant community of new and veteran players and dice traders on social media and at trading portals. Visit the Dragon Dice website to browse additional products, contribute to in-depth discussions on army tactics, and deliberate gameplay strategies.